Here's another GTA 6 leak. Game has got more holes in it than a cheese grater. So it's just the one clip right now, right? This one is simply called Taser. It's 2 minutes long. Guys, I can't show you the leak. Rockstar takes all this stuff down. It's probably pushing my luck describing it, but I've gotten away with describing each of the leaks so far. This starts off, looks like Jason in another very rusty old car. Sick music playing. So he's driving around at night, so it's kind of harder to see stuff. But as I say, I'm going to stick by my assessment that this looks like Watch Dogs 1 if it released in 2026. The mini-map this time round is the same as before in that it's square, squished, and like into a rectangle kind of thing. It feels as though there's more of a line around it this time though, right? Because the map with GTA 5, if you've noticed, it kind of fades into the gameplay. Like it sort of fades out. This map in GTA 6 has like a small white line around it, making it distinct from the gameplay itself, which is different. Like you can see that immediately. In the background, you can see like a mural with an American flag, and it looks to me like I don't know, like it's definitely some lore to it. Wow. Okay, so Jason gets hit by a car in the front of his car, and like sparks fly up everywhere because it's, you know, two chunks of metal scraping against each other and sparks flicking off everywhere. I guess because the car Jason's in is so rusted. The halo effect around the lights is really intense, like as it would look in real life, right? It's very bright. He's at the Ambrosia Mill and Refinery in Allied Crystal. A truck that has an oil tanker on the back of it. There's a forklift. There's a movable vehicle of stairs. You know, where there's things where you like move it around and then you press it and then it goes upwards, like a movable stair thing, like at a factory. And this is where this leak features, at a factory. Or like an industrial area, because they've got warehouses everywhere. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, it gets intense. So at 35 seconds, he gets out of the car and he's going to steal a car from two warehouse workers, it looks like. She says, "A can't be here, this ain't public. I'ma fuck your ass up. Ain't playing no more." And when he's approaching the car, a bunch of options appear. One is grab, as if he's going to grab something from the back truck bed of the truck. In the same way we discussed previously how it does seem as though you can store things in any truck with storage at the back of it and grab stuff out of it. But when he gets to the door, he starts to open it and two options come up: clone key and smash window. So I guess keys are finally going to be a significant thing in the game. It was always a bit silly in GTA 5 that effectively no one had keys until like, you know, a decade in when we started having a few in GTA Online. It shows clone key as grayed out though, so he doesn't have the option in this case. Oh, so he tried the vehicle, but because the player didn't select one of the options, he just gave up and walked away. Interesting. Okay, so we get some more close-up of the combat. Jason squares off against a warehouse worker, and he has like a quick jab, just pew, and the dude's hat flies off his head, as you would expect. And the guy is just like, oh, in a much more realistic way, responding to the hit that he just took, which is really cool. And then we get like some repeated jabs, quick jabs. The guy has a taser, and Jason goes in, grabs the taser to pull it away from him, smashing the guy's head back, and the enemy's head flies all the way back. And then Jason takes the taser away from the guy and swings and hits him, and it does like an execution animation. It says, "Tap while aiming to toggle your tactical flashlight." It's funny, when Jason hits this guy, like you can see both characters' hairs just like fleeing everywhere, like because it's with the force, the momentum of the actual hit they're responding to. Jason looks far less like a badass in this footage, right? In the cutscenes we've seen, he's looked like a Marine, top of his game, super strong, dominance. In this, he seems less that way to me, right? He looks like an unk, yeah, he looks like a hermit, like this guy's been off the grid for a while, clearly off his game, kind of thing. He looks like a guy who's maybe had some training, but like hasn't hit the gym in a long time. The gun is interesting. It shows him having a standard pistol with 20 rounds in the magazine and 100 bullets. So he takes out the security guy and there's blood splatters everywhere, which is awesome. And so he's just meleeing, hitting head, stomping on people. So the melee combat, way stronger than previous. He gets tased, but just tanks it. Well, that's impressive. But he really goes ham with this pistol, hitting these guys. Like each individual melee attack looks different than the one previous. It's not just the two different attacks that we had in GTA 5. And melee clearly isn't just an insta-kill as it was in GTA 5 if you like locked on and stuff. So melee combat has been massively improved, which is one of the things I wanted most in GTA 6, which is great. Okay, so he's replacing his pistol. Okay, when he goes to the weapon, it says, take shocker, drop close K17 pistol. So I guess he can only have one weapon, which again is something that other leaks have suggested was the thing, that we're gonna have a much more limited amount of weaponry. But this seems to suggest he only has one weapon, which is interesting. And so he reaches down, drops this pistol and picks up the shocker. The shocker having 12 bullets, 11 and 1. And it's a coil shocker charge. And so he tases a body in it. It jerks around. I think he just tased the dead person. So he tases an enemy and they act in the same way that they act in GTA 5. Got tased and fell to the ground. It's interesting that he's taking out all of these guards and not getting the cops. He's in fact wearing a security hat. When did he pick up the hat? I missed that. He picks up the hats just before he picks up the shocker. And he puts on the hat backwards. So he takes the hat from the person that he originally took out. And he has focus, but he didn't seem to use any focus. It shows up momentarily. Oh, I think it was when he was aiming down the sights. I guess for Deadeye. He's tasing all these people without getting the cops instantly, which was a criticism of GTA 5 that the cops were way too responsive to doing crimes. He's running a sort of a combat mode as well, where he's holding the pistol in front of him and like shuffling forward so he can quickly flick up and fire. Again, representing different modes of movement in the same way GTA 5 had. Not that many people notice that there's a combat mode in GTA 5 and stuff like that. Yeah, and so like when he's out of combat for a certain amount of time, he leaves combat mode and so he starts, running his arms to either side again. Oh, is this the first time we hear Jason speak any of this? He says, hey, I've always wanted a truck. His voice almost doesn't sound real. Yeah, I always wanted a truck. It doesn't sound like Jason's voice. And the person yells, stop, that's a gift from one of my boyfriends. So he's getting shot at here and the weapons sound good. And the bullets are hitting things, not only creating holes, but causing little sparks to flick off as it hits the truck, it looks really cool. He gets hit here, goes, ah. The truck he goes in has 40% petrol and has already taken like 10% damage. Which is interesting because obviously when we normally steal cars in GTA 5, every car that we steal is always full HP, always topped up. Not that there's a petrol mechanic, obviously, but this seems to represent the idea that we could steal vehicles that if they've been driving for a while are going to have lesser petrol. Crime reported. Right, so there has to be a witness to the crime and that the crime then has to be reported to the police. Awesome. Again, the red popped up saying the cops know Jason's clothing and face. He's got 1 star of 6. I love this. If you're gonna drive drunk, do it better. Jesus Christ, you're gonna kill somebody. Great line. It's just from a random citizen. Oh, so at the very end of this, they've spliced in a cutscene from some other part of the game. So I guess the hackers are representing themselves as Cal, because it's Cal and Jason on a boat. And so Jason's like, fishing. I love fishing. And he's looking kind of like Arthur Morgan, honestly. Like it looks like he could be an ancestor of Arthur. And Cal's on there with him. And Jason says, good living. Here's to you, buddy. And raises his beer. So he says, here's to you, buddy. Enjoy your life till the men in suits decide to finally shut you the fuck up. And Cal laughs. They don't know nothing about me, man. I use a VPN. And because everyone was joking, like the Netflix showcase isn't going to be any footage of the game. It's just going to be Rockstar or Take-Two executing leakers. These guys feeling cocky, it seems. So what can we see in this short cutscene? I mean, we get no story indications. There's a small sticker that says born to fish with some damage on it. The boat's looking nice, like super detailed. Water's looking beautiful. Game Roll says, Tate McRae's song Sports Car is featured in the new GTA 6 leaked video that just dropped. Another confirmed radio song. But more importantly, this song released January 2025. That means that these leaked clips cannot be from before then. We're looking at footage that's a maximum of 20 months old. Not necessarily. Rockstar, in the lead up to GTA 5, reached out to artists and had them make songs specifically for them. And it could be the case that they had this music before the public. I think it's a fine assumption to make that this footage is from after January 2025, but it's not 100% the case. We do have evidence that it could be otherwise, but I think Game Roll is probably correct. They could have just released it publicly with Rockstar's blessing, right? That is something they could have done. I'm not saying it's certainly the case, but that is possible.
After all these leaks, I feel like GTA 6 is way too overhyped and won't live up to people's expectations.
I disagree. I have generally been pretty impressed with this, especially considering that I'm pretty sure this is not recorded on like top-end hardware. Like, I'm getting this at a really, what is the bit rate of this footage? This is 27 megabytes, guys. It is 1800 bit rate. It is hard for me to express to you guys. I record my footage in like 4K 100,000 bit rate. This is, by no stretch of the imagination, someone recording the footage, putting the best foot forward. Anyone who is looking at this, like, this is a amazing representation of this footage and the game, it's crazy. This is like a cam rip inside of a movie theater. It looks good considering the recording. So I'm gonna go back over this one more time and see if there's anything I kind of missed. The shadows and lighting in the game are really spectacular. None of the lighting looks fake, like it's someone has put a random light somewhere to light up a scene for a player. It looks like you are driving down a street in real life. How the light hits the road, that's what you'd expect it to look like in real life. And it looks really impressive. We know Rockstar has massively improved their lighting tech. We've seen some of it come to GTA 5 and we've seen it before in some of the trailers, but it looks lovely. When Jason's car gets hit by this van, it is just so impressive. He gets hit, there's sparks that go up everywhere. The sparks individually dissipate. There's a little bit of smoke. There's some dust on the ground that is turned up because the car takes off very quickly. All these small little details that like really sell the hit. I'm not sure that the execution animation looks particularly amazing. It's kind of like hunched down, like kind of like that, right? I swear, I think Jason was actually modeled after Arthur Morgan, because I'm looking at him like, this is Arthur Morgan. Yeah, what is this? Is this a 60 FPS footage? No, this is 30 FPS again. We didn't mention that last time. All the footage thus far has been 30 FPS. But even if it was recorded in 60 FPS, you can record a 30 FPS game in 60 FPS if you really want to, right? It wouldn't prove anything. When he's running, stamina does go down, as you'd expect. I don't think this is the finished product, but it's definitely close to it, right? This is not some like the 2022 footage that we got. Very obviously, very rough. This is like, you know, they're refining the rough edges of the game. Again, it didn't make it into the last video, but I want to be on the record here. I don't think these leaks are particularly harming Rockstar in some way, and I don't think they're really benefiting us. If it were the case that we had nothing on the horizon, we had no idea when something else was going to be coming out, maybe these would be more appreciated. But honestly, I feel like this is just like ruining the meal I'm about to have in 7 days with the actual release of the official material. It's like I'm eating a bunch of candy that's terrible for me when I'm about to have a gourmet meal. I shouldn't be doing this. It's not worth it. But it's in front of me, so I can't help myself. And I'm enjoying the candy while knowing that, you know, ultimately the gourmet meal is what I really want. I really feel as though that the cutscene that we're getting is at a different stage of the game from the footage that we're getting of gameplay. But like, if he has access to the cutscenes, why is he giving us one clip?
Do you think the VPN cutscene was chosen to taunt her?
Oh, absolutely. It was the VPN cutscene was 100% chosen to taunt Rockstar. What's most interesting about the leaker choosing their cutscene isn't that they chose it, but that they have enough material, as presumably, to be able to pick a scene that would taunt Rockstar. It seems very unlikely that they only had access to that one cutscene and it just so happened to be a perfect thing to taunt them. You gotta assume they have a lot more. It's interesting to me though that Jason could just tank the taser. Wait a second, did he lose his stamina when he got tased? Oh, he did. Oh, I see. So if you have high enough stamina, you could call it adrenaline and you can tank the taser shot. But I guess if you had expended your stamina, then you would just get knocked to the ground. From what I've seen from the game so far though, it doesn't look like speedrunner friendly. As dumb as being able to store an entire arsenal in your arsehole is in a game, it's very good for speedrunning. This game feels a lot more weighed down than GTA 5. I don't think there's gonna be like clean complication jumps. The stealing animation is just so smooth with this truck. Like he steps up 1 foot on the step, pulls her out, steps the second step up and goes in. I think the fonts that they've chosen is a bit iffy. I'm not in love with the font. It's like, what would that be, like a basic Arial? I do think there is a much greater likelihood now that he could release something that's actually spoilery rather than just informing us of or confirming things that we already suspected about the game, especially from previous leaks. I obviously don't want story spoiled. That would be unfortunate. Yeah, so now this leak is more concerning than previous two.
Do you think this is a bigger leak than 2022?
Oh, that's tough. We definitely got more footage in 2022. Because everything was so in development in 2022, it was unclear as to what was finalized, what was not. This is clearly a lot of finalized stuff. Despite us having less material, we are getting more information from this, clearly. Who is this leaker? And why do they hate me? I was asleep. Went to bed for an hour. Then the leak happens. The third leak. Go to bed for 2 hours. Fourth leak happens. Why you do this? Let's take a look at it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, there's interesting stuff immediately. Okay, so for one thing, we're seeing the bagger, like, Franklin's bike, but it's a police version of it, which of course existed in GTA 5 and now exists in GTA 6. Interestingly, Jason walks up to this vehicle, kicks it in the front, and the bike falls over. And the policeman falling off it looks really realistic. It's like, oh! It shows a weapon wheel, which is interesting because last time we were someone with only one weapon and he didn't use a weapon wheel. Here's $0 in this footage, suggesting again this is really, really early footage. So all the footage we've seen so far from this leaker has all been really early footage, again suggesting that he only has early footage. The weapon wheel shows healing items. He has 3 red pill bottles and 0 of something that gives, I assume, armor. It looks like a yellow hearse. Maybe armor is yellow this time around. That might be like I'm not sure what it is, but there's 2 categories of healing items that he can carry. And interesting. The weapon wheel itself, it shows him having a pistol with 100 bullets, fists, a flashlight, and a hunting knife. There are 8 slots, so it's possible he can have 1 item in each slot. There's also an item category. Does he show it? No, he doesn't show the item category. So there was another whole weapon wheel. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you might recall, there are 2 weapon wheels. So that's probably what is happening here too. Oh man, he is vicious with that hunting knife into this cop. There is just blood. And he making some strong moves. Not one particular cut is like he actually has skill with a knife. Oh, I see. Cyberleak says he doesn't have a Twitter account apparently, so our speculation for that they're all just fake Twitter accounts. When Jason stabs this policeman the first time, the policeman's glasses fall off. He keeps his helmet this time, but so I guess it's just accessories in general will fall off if a person is violently assaulted, because he saw it before with a hat. It showed Jason being able to pick up the body. I guess similar to a hitman kind of thing. I guess there might be situations where you would want to hide a body so it doesn't get seen by the police and stuff. Unless, of course, this is suggesting he could have picked up something else from the cop, maybe an item he had, but it honestly looks like he just would be picking up the body, which is a good sign because it might be suggestive that stealth mechanics be a bit stronger this time around. So he takes the bike from the cop and we see a 3rd icon in the bottom left-hand corner that I've never seen before. Previously, we've seen petrol, engine, but now we're seeing like an orange placement symbol, like a circle with a little marker in it. Is that suggestive that, like, if the cops see this vehicle, they'll be like, oh, that's a stolen vehicle and we'll chase you down? Interesting thing happening like 20 seconds in. While on a vehicle, he uses the weapon wheel, as in the actual weapon wheel, rather than like scrolling through, which is cool. It's always been annoying how limited you are in your ease at selecting items when you're in vehicles in GTA 5. Happy they solved that. Number plate doesn't show anything particularly interesting. There's a lot of cars just flying by. At the low bitrate, it's not super easy to, but the game looks pretty amazing. Oh, so yeah, he's driven past a eatery, a burger place. Man, there's so much going on with him being detected with the police. There is a whole, half the map is just covered in red, I guess suggesting the radius at which the cops will continue to detect him. He's got the white arrow with a black circle around it, and then 2 white circles around that circle, I guess suggesting noise, how he gets detected, I guess. And again, still in the top right-hand corner, got 2 wanted stars, and the cops know his clothing, his face, and his vehicle. Okay, when he drove outside of the red area, the wanted level started to flash. So yeah, so it is just a huge red radius showcasing the vision of cops. And if you go outside of it, you start losing the police. Ooh, his driving that motorbike into the water, It looked cool, but it did not sound good. It's like, plop. What's even crazier to me is he drives past a billboard in Watch Dogs 1, or was it Watch Dogs 2? There were trucks with billboards on them, like just carrying billboards. This one says, "Are you fucked from fucking?" And the thing says, "Don't let it happen again." I guess it's for some penis pills or something. There's a lot of billboards everywhere. Like I can see Phil's ammunition. Oh, it's a billboard for ammunition. Cool, interesting. There's a very pink one up there. Can't really read it though. Again, the bitrate is very low. Water looks amazing. Yeah, so he goes into the water. He climbs out wet and he sounds wet as he's stepping around. Yeah, Jason just walks up to them and is listening to these two random people talk. This person looks like he's passed out from taking drugs. Oh! A guy pushes Jason. Jason pushes back. And then Jason just utterly bitch slaps this guy. Just again, in a very Arthur Morgan-esque way. Oh, and this random homeless dude has a shiv. And so this guy just cuts into Jason. And so Jason brings out his own knife and really goes ham. He's holding it downwards and just like flinging. Like, with obvious expertise. The hair physics is great. Is moving very well. There are red wanted stars. So did he never lose the stars? No, he never lost the stars. So he started to lose the stars when he got out of the red radius of the cops. But when he stabbed this homeless dude, the stars went red. It says the cops are searching for you, red wanted star, and they have your clothing, face, and vehicle. But why are they red? I guess they don't know your location though? I guess that's what that means. Every single thing we've seen so far is clearly, very clear at the beginning of the story. The man has literally $0. I see here, he uses a healing item. Yeah, like pills, like you might use in PUBG. He shoves them in his mouth. And it says, repeated use of Zombix will temporarily have a weaker effect on your health. Interesting. This manages to heal him over halfway on his health bar, which I guess might be what the small sliver is on the health bar. It meant to indicate half. So you can't just spam heals, which is a good way to do that, I suppose. He steals $6 from her body. So you can loot bodies. Yeah, it just says, straight up says loot. And he has the option to change the knife for the hunting knife that she drops. Oh, that's a lot of options. Yeah, so on one body, it says he can trade his hunting knife for the switchblade, or he can pick up the body or loot it. So yeah, again, definitely picking up body is an option. Oh, I see. The wanted stars were red because a crime had been committed that could be reported. The crime has now been reported, and then the red on the map has turned into blue, showcasing that the cops know where Jason is. And then there's a very definitive radius that Jason needs to leave before the cops won't have any idea where he is. He's just stabbing homeless people and kicking them in this footage. This is the kind of stuff that a person does when they just started playing the game and have no idea what to do. He looted Zombix from a character. Well, obviously in GTA 5, you never loot snacks from enemies, but I'm pretty sure in online you do sometimes, rarely, right? But obviously this is the single player content, so we're gonna be looting snacks from random enemies. Yeah, they do drop them in online. They don't drop them that often though, do they? Maybe it's just something I don't notice that often, but I know they do drop them sometimes. But given that this person has killed, 5 people and has already got some heals dropped, it must be a more regular thing. One interesting thing is, despite killing all these people, the 3 living homeless people are just walking away slowly, as if they aren't programmed entirely to run away from violence. Because they are going, oh my god, ah. But yeah, it's just yelling, please, but just walking away slowly. That's weird. Again, this is definitely not the game is finished. There's definitely some small scuffed aspects of it. So at the very end of this one, he played the exact same cutscene he played before, where Kala's like, I got a VPN. Again, suggesting all this guy has is the very beginning of the game. The weapon wheel looks a bit rough. It's not a bad weapon wheel, but I would have thought it'd be a bit better than this. They are rectangles, which is different from the circles that we're used to. We get some names of places. That's about it, really. Having been to the keys, I can tell you that this is a good representation of it. CyberLeak, the group behind the recent GTA 6 footage leaks, has now started a poll asking people what type of footage they want to see next. The options include car, day, car, nice, motorcycle, nice, and plane, day. However, there's a catch. To vote in the poll, you have to send cryptocurrency to the corresponding address for each option. Whichever choice receives the most money winning. So much for gamer rights. In fact, the plain day option is currently winning, with someone having already sent the equivalent of around $80 to its wallet. That's not a lot of money. I made more money than that live streaming and just talking about the leaks. I mean, given the boost in the cryptocurrency, surely that's made them enough money. It'd be interesting to see how much money they made on the crypto side. I will say though that the options given here confirm what I was saying previously. They don't have the entire game. These options would be heist, Jason Lucia makeout scene, end credits, that kind of stuff if they had the entire thing. Rather than stuff you can do at the very beginning of the game in free mode. They're gonna steal a plane, steal a motorcycle, steal a car, or steal a car. Are the leaks good or bad? Do they represent that the game is awesome? I'd say so. Is the visual quality of the leaks good? No. Do I think we benefited from these leaks happening? No. Do I think this person has virtuous goals that they're actually trying to achieve some good ends? No. The whole thing about physical media makes no sense, because if Rockstar said, hey, we're going to release physical media, Cyberleak would have no reason to believe Rockstar. It's just nonsense. And there's no way in hell a company is going to radically change their whole distribution of a $1 billion video game for one random person on Twitter. My overall view of the leaks is, I'm not happy there are more GTA 6 leaks. I'd much rather we just got to see the official stuff on the 27th. I don't believe this tale that they are leaking this to advocate for physical media. It's all about pumping their crypto, just like the leak of the first trailer. Garbage. The game does look really good though. It is currently a 2 short 1-minute clips and some map images. When I said some map images, it shows the overview of the map as well as other images of like the individual areas with markers on it and stuff. It's clearly not all the map details. As in, it doesn't show us where every ammunition is, for example.